When I use the microwave to cook bacon, what I'm going to show in this video is how I do it. I like using the Chinet oval-shaped plate because this allows me to lay the bacon out lengthwise. And when I first started out, I did what a lot of people do. Put paper towels down, lay the bacon across it, put a paper towel on top, and then microwave it. It was convenient, but the problem is as the paper towel absorbed all the grease, as the bacon cooked, it started getting attached to the paper towels. And so when you started pulling the bacon up, bits and pieces of paper towels stuck to the bacon. I next tried the idea of a bowl or other glass container where you actually drape the bacon over the container to keep it away from the paper towels. The problem I found is that the bacon that was touching the glass would cook slower than the bacon that was not touching the glass. So in order to get this part cooked, this part became overcooked. So I could not get even cooking when I was draping the bacon over a glass container, over a glass bowl. So what I do now, I use parchment paper. Now the advantage of parchment paper is that the bacon will not stick to it. The disadvantage is parchment paper really does not absorb grease, so the grease begins to pool on the paper. But what I found out, this actually turned into an advantage because I found that the bacon cooking in its own grease gave it an even cooking, even crispness across the entire length of bacon. So I would lay the bacon across a single piece of parchment paper. I would lay another one on top, cook it in the microwave. The top one kept the grease from splattering inside the microwave. So why don't we go ahead and get some bacon ready, and after it's cooked, I will show you how I handle the grease. Okay, so we have the bacon laid out on the plate. Let's top it with the other piece of parchment paper. And then we'll microwave it. On my microwave, 4 pieces of bacon take somewhere between 2–2.5 minutes. So what I do is after 2 minutes, I'll look at it. If it's done, great. If it's not, I'll cook it some more. All right, it's been 2 minutes, so let's take a look. All right, it isn't quite cooked enough for me, so I'm going to put it in the microwave for about another 30 seconds. And let's take a look again. It looks done the way I like it. And you can see that it does not stick to the parchment paper. Now, you're probably asking, what did we do all this grease? Well, I live in a municipality where it will collect cooking grease for recycling. I don't save my bacon grease for cooking, so what I do is I can grab the parchment paper. Now the grease is going to be hot, of course, but the paper is not. So I'll just pour it into a container. And once it cools off, I'll put it into our recycling container. If you save your bacon grease for cooking, you might want to put it into a metal container, and then once it's cooled off, pour it into your storage container. Now to get some of this residual grease off, I'll just use a paper towel and pick it up. And now I'm going to put the next 4 pieces of bacon on. All right, the next 4 pieces are ready. I'll put the same piece of parchment paper on top, and then we'll cook them. And here's the second 4. They look done. And we'll pour the grease into the container. The grease will be hot, but the parchment paper is not. use a paper towel to wipe down any residual. And what I'm going to do next, I'm going to finish cooking up all the bacon and then review a few things. Okay, I finished cooking all the bacon. In the same way, I just used 2 pieces of parchment paper. You can tell none of the grease bled through the plate. I just poured the grease off into a container. Again, where I live, we can recycle our cooking grease. So once it's cool, I'll pour it into our recycle container. If I didn't have that recycling option, I would just let it cool off and then discard it. If I wanted to keep it for cooking, then I would pour it into a metal container, and then once it's cooled off, put it into a storage container. Now, you may be asking, well, if you're going to cook it on grease, why not use a frying pan? Well, if I'm going to use a frying pan next to do something like cook eggs, then I would cook the bacon in the pan and then cook the eggs in the pan. But if I'm making bacon for like to be used in a salad or a casserole in this case, I prefer using a microwave. So I hope this information has been useful to you, and thank you for watching.